Parts to it, held together by a latch either side. 2 tunnels, you put some dry dog food in the tunnel, inside, in line with the tunnel, and scatter some around loose. Don't put any outside because magpies and ravens and currawongs will find it and then dominate the trap and won't let miners into it. Don't put any bread or seed in here because that will attract rosellas and native birds. Now, don't skimp on what you're putting in here because you want the miners to see it and be drawn in. But then again, you're not here to fatten them up either. You'll get miners come in, possibly starlings. If starlings are around, they'll certainly go in. They'll quickly realise they're caught, look for a way out, find that opening there, which corresponds to this opening here. They will quickly scurry up here. This is a one-way valve. And get caught in here. You put food in here as well, and water in this water bottle. Just poke your hose from outside to fill it up with water. So those 2 parts are together. Now don't be in a hurry to bump off the first one that gets. Don't be in a hurry to bump off the first one that gets in here, because the first one will call others in. These are social birds. The first one will call others in.
Is it calling them to come and enjoy the food, or is it calling them?
Well, I don't know. It might say it's a nice little spot, or it might say come and help me. Who knows? But whatever it is, more miners will come to the trap and go in. And that's why you need to keep the bait nice and fresh as well. So every few days, just top this up with a bit more fresh food. So I said, don't bump off the first one that gets in here, because it will call others in. But after 3 or 4 days, when you notice there's no more going in, unhook these 2 bits. This is what we do in the ACT. Unhook these 2 bits, put this in a large plastic bag like you get for the wheelie bins. You can get some heavy duty plastic bags. Get a grey water hose. One end of the, cut off, say 2 metres. One end goes into the exhaust of a cold petrol car. Has to be stone cold, hasn't been driven, and the catalytic converter hasn't been activated. When the catalytic converter is activated by the heat of the exhaust gas, it renders a carbon monoxide to water vapour and CO2, and that's not as effective. So grey water hose, one end into the exhaust of your cold petrol car. Pack a bit of rag around that so it doesn't leak out there. The other end of the grey water hose into the plastic bag with the trap. Crunch this plastic bag down as much as you can to eliminate the extra volume of air. Tie it off, but don't tie it too tight. It's not to be airtight because you want the air in here to escape as the exhaust is coming in. Otherwise you just pop the bag and get back pressure in your car. Run your car for a minute and a half, perhaps just walk away for another minute. They should be unconscious on the floor within 10-15 seconds and dead within 30-40 seconds. When we did the research at ANU, we wrapped this entirely with Glad Wrap and had a hose from a 16cc Corolla. And they were unconscious on the floor within 7 seconds and dead within 19 seconds. So it's very, very quick. It's the most humane way of disposing of birds and small animals. Carbon monoxide from a cold petrol vehicle. So it needn't be a car. It can be a ride-on mower, motorbike, as long as it's.
I've heard people using lawnmowers. Is that okay?
But the volume of carbon monoxide from a car is obviously going to be much more than from a lawnmower or motorbike. Anyway, after they've dead, just open up the back, shake them out on some paper, wrap that up into a plastic bag and into the wheelie bin. And then you start again. These are ground feeders, so have the trap on the ground. Have a clear area around so they know there's no cats lurking. Cats are a real no-no. Just the smell of cat on the trap around the area is enough to put them off coming down. A couple of important things. As I said, keep the bait nice and fresh. If there's a miner in the trap, don't approach the trap during the daytime because the miner in here could give an alarm call and tell others around that you and the trap are bad news. So that breeds trap where it is.
How far away do you need to keep from the trap during the daytime?
Well, I mean, 10, 15 metres, something like that. But ideally, if you have the shade cloth going down far enough, and if they're on the perch, they won't be able to see out and see you walking around the garden anyway. But ideally, not come up close, anywhere close to the trap.
So you do the culling at night time then?
Yep. The idea is to you can put the trap away out of open area.
Yeah, you could take it
after
into the
dusk
garage.
and go in the garage if you've just driven home. So when it's dusk, put the cow and then bump them off first thing in the morning.
Okay. Yeah.
A couple other important things. Is keep the bait nice and fresh, clear area around it. Don't approach the trap. Never let a myna out. And some people, well, it's very rare that you'll catch anything other than mynas. But if perchance a native bird does get in here, and there's a myna in here, then you need to obviously release the native bird. If it's by itself in here, all you do is unhook these two bits and it'll pop out here. If it's in here by itself, all you do is undo the door and it'll pop out itself. But if there's a myna in here, obviously then you have to get the native bird out. I've never heard of a native bird being in there with a myna, but just in case, what the idea is to open the door, put a rag over it so there's no big gap, your hand under the rag and then catch the native bird. But the bird that escapes or gets out will tell others to avoid the trap.
I see.
So they're highly intelligent, these birds. Newcastle Psych Department has been testing birds for intelligence, problem solving, stuff like that. Mynas slightly below ravens in terms of intelligence, and way ahead of most other native birds. So that's about it, Sue. Important thing is people to persist. Put it in one area. If it doesn't work there after a week or so, put it somewhere else. But keep the bait nice and fresh. If it rains, discard the food and start again, because it just goes soggy and stuff like that.
Bill, I heard somebody recommend, say, mixing the cat food or the dried cat food with a bit of water and a bit of red food colouring to make it look like meat. Is that?
Well, the problem with having water on dry dog food is it swells, or cat food swells up and loses its odour and nothing eats it.
Okay.
But they certainly seem to like red bits.
Yes.
And unfortunately, most of the dog food or cat food you buy is brown.
So we just need like small little bits that they can fit in their beaks. Yeah,
what we normally would suggest is pedigree for small adult dogs, or something like that, Baxter, for small adult dogs anyway. So